The strategies and concepts discussed are for educational purposes only and do not represent specific investment, tax, or estate planning advice. Investing carries an inherent element of risk, and it is in everyone's best interest to consult a legal, tax, or investment professional. John Cyndia is an investment advisor representative of, and advisory services are offered through USA Financial Securities Corporation, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Life Stages Advisory is not affiliated with USA Financial Securities. Life Stages Advisory, Dean or Remington, or any guest we have are not affiliated with USA Financial Securities. Welcome to episode 76 of WTF, Wealth, Tax, and Finances. I'm your host, John Cyndia, certified public accountant and personal financial specialist. I've got Dean and Remington in today.
Yeah, hello.
Hey. Hey. I'm trying to get John off, make him think. He's got something to say.
Keeping you on your
me-
toes.
John,
I
do you have something to tell
I
the
have
listeners?
something to say
Hit us
right at
with
the
it.
very beginning.
Oh, boy.
What I want you to do is like us, subscribe to us, and listen to us on Spotify, iHeart, and Apple
Podcasts.
so
Podcasts.
You get an A for effort, though, buddy.
Okay. So
That was pretty good.
those are our.
That was pretty good.
B+.
We usually do that at the end, but I'm going to get them in there at the beginning.
I've seen some of the other people. They're pretty good with it,
Yeah,
but they're not as old as you.
that's right.
Shoot.
Oh well.
Got him.
Anyway, with that, we want to hear your feedback. Jay Cyndia at lifestagesadvisory.com. You didn't think I was going to put that in there
Oh.
either. See?
You going to tell
Got
them
it.
to leave some comments on the videos?
Yes, leave comments on the videos too.
Hit us with your burning questions.
And anything you would like to know more about so we can make sure that the content is tailored to your wants, needs, and likes, okay?
Ask John to bring out the hat collection.
Oh, geez, here we go. Let's get
Burning
started.
questions.
Okay.
John, show us all your fedoras.
How many you got?
That's
Yeah.
next episode.
He has like a suitcase. You ever seen like the jewelry people they showed? They're like, well, I got some in here for you.
I got hat
Dean's
boxes.
got hat
yeah.
boxes.
Dean's got 3 cars. John's got 300 hats.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
he
what do
has,
you have?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's going to
I've
get
got
us.
2
That's
dogs.
a good segue. You have nothing. So that's getting us into today's episode here of millennials and why they live paycheck to paycheck. But
I'm offended.
they're not alone. They're not alone. This is a situation that boomers have had, Gen Zers, Gen Yers, everybody at a certain age level is when they first start out living, leave the nest or out of school, attend colleges after they're on their own, wanting cars, wanting houses, wanting families. Everybody goes through this. But interestingly enough, an article I was looking at the other day, it's not just age-driven or a situation that is peculiar to people who are living like $40,000 or $50,000 or below incomes. We're looking at people who even have more than $100,000 are still living paycheck to paycheck. So
That blows my mind.
yeah, it's some of the statistics. Let me read off a couple of things here. 54% of consumers in the U.S. have little or no money left after spending their earnings. That means 125 million U.S. adults are currently living paycheck to paycheck. 125 million.
Jeez.
That's funny. Everyone in this room is living paycheck to paycheck.
What? I don't think so. Anyway, by age, the generation that is most economically vulnerable is the millennials, as 70% of the group live paycheck to paycheck. Now, I know at one point, Rem, you did. But
Yeah.
you don't now.
I mean, I'm not making crazy money or anything, but like a few years back, I was paying way too much on my old car and paying rent for an apartment. I had like maybe $100 when everything was all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also not factoring in like groceries and stuff like that. So it was get all that stuff paid off because I didn't want to have any like late fees or anything like that.
Mhm.
Didn't want to like impact myself badly. So once all that was said and done, I had pretty much nothing.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, was that was just for basics? That was your
that was
food, shelter, transportation, stuff like that you normally look at.
Yeah, groceries, rent, and my car, because
Okay.
the payment on my car was ridiculous back in the day.
Was it because that you wanted that car?
No,
Or it was a certain type or what?
So I kind of screwed myself over.
Okay.
I waited till I was 18 to get my license, and then I also
Bad
had-
driver.
Bad driver.
I'm a great driver. I drive fast, Ricky Bobby. But no,
Lightning McQueen, I am.
Yeah.
Ka-chow. But no, I waited till I was 18 to start driving. I also had absolutely zero credit.
Mhm.
So I had to basically take my parents, because they had 3 cars. It was a Kia Soul is what I was driving. My parents had a Jeep, and they've got something else now. I think they got like a BMW.
Mhm.
But back in the day, their credit wasn't too good, and I took on all those payments, making
So they were very high interest rates.
very high interest rates, and I was making minimum wage. Even when I got my sales job, making a lot more, I still had to pay. It was like $600 a month
Mhm.
just for the car, and
And it wasn't a new one, right?
No, it
It
was
was a used
like a
car.
2013 Kia Soul. Nothing
Okay.
fancy, but I was paying almost half my paycheck on just the car.
Wow.
Then I had to drop another 300 on rent, and then groceries. So I had like $100 left over, and that was if I didn't have to buy anything else like gas.
Wow.
But yeah, it was.
So that's
rough.
why you got a girlfriend to help.
Oh yeah, she paid half the rent. So that 300 for rent would have been 700.
Okay.
But yeah, it was rough.
Okay. And now you're out of that.
Yeah, I got rid of the car. I've got a cheaper, more affordable one. I'm paying like 200 a month instead
Okay.
of 600. And we bought a house, so I'm
Okay.
paying less on that than I was for the apartment. And I just got a new job making more money, so it's
So it's getting a little easier.
yeah. I've got fun money
Yeah.
now that I'm saving instead of spending though. But
Okay.
yeah, it's
Dean, what about you?
interesting.
You still living paycheck to paycheck, or? But you got 12 cars now.
I'm living paycheck to paycheck strictly by choice.
Strictly by choice.
I don't have to,
It's a lifestyle.
but it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
So I mean, like, yeah, I just got a nice raise. We discussed that last week, and I still live at home. So I mean, a lot of the things I buy, I really don't need.
Yeah. But you're still putting
But-
money away though too.
I try to, yeah. I try to have at least a nice, what I want to say, like emergency savings.
Like a little nest egg.
Yeah, and I mean, by any means, my parents obviously they don't give me money, but obviously there's food in the house. They pay the utilities, things like that. I don't have rent, anything like that. I hope they're not listening, because then they'll decide that I need to pay rent.
Start
But-
contributing
but
to
I mean,
food
yeah,
source.
They'll put a lock on your door when you get home.
Yeah, and I have to slide a credit card to get in like a hotel. That's $50.
Yeah.
Um,
$50.
Yeah,
every
but by
time you come in.
by any means, I mean, I will straight up say that I have it way better than I think I do, just by the sheer fact that I don't have to really pay for any living expenses. I get to have fun with my money.
Yeah.
But you know, with that being said, and in all this time that I've been having fun with my money, I've racked up a little bit of debt. I have school loan debt. I have a nice car. I have 2 cars.
Yeah.
So trying to find a house, I need to make a little bit more money to be able to afford one, which is where I'm kind of at now. So I'll be looking to actually grow up, move
After you
out.
grow up and move out.
Time to grow up and get out. Yeah. So I'll be looking to do that here probably in the next 6 to 8 months. But I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. I just spend my money on a lot of fun stuff. But I think that really there's a lot of people who probably do the same and shouldn't be doing it.
Oh, that was me
Yeah.
back in the day.
The-
I've
Yeah.
got a bit of a vinyl record collection that I would, after every paycheck, even having like $100 left over, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go drop $40 for just anything I can find.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, whatever. I'll figure it out later, but I needed to start figuring out now, because when I move out and get my own house,
Yeah.
there will be no fun money left.
Well, what do you think it is? It's an attitude. Did you pick that up from your parents? Is it a millennial attitude?
No,
Or is it
I did
just
not get it from them.
you didn't get it from them?
No,
You
Oh,
just
same.
no, my
here.
parents don't. They don't buy anything.
They don't buy anything. So
No, they've saved their money. They're so stuck in the saving.
they're
mode.
on their austerity kick
Yeah.
24/7,
They might-
365.
They're probably living like 70% under what they make per year.
Okay.
Maybe more than that.
Okay.
85. I don't even, no.
Yeah.
I hope they're not listening.
And they don't, do they do anything?
I'm airing their very clean laundry.
Do they go anywhere? Do they do things? Do they have any hobbies or anything?
I mean,
Or
my
they just
dad's into cars and stuff, and
Yeah.
he spends his money on his car. But I mean, other than that, like, no. I mean, they just paid off their house.
Mhm.
They have cheap cars. They don't have crazy high car payments.
Are they in retirement age or getting close?
Well, my dad's set to retire at 62, and he's 53 now. So I mean, he's
okay.
got a few years left. But
Okay.
he'll probably get bored and continue working. And,
So they're just
wanna-
saving their money. And
Yeah, he's just saving their money to take it to the grave or give it to me. Or
Yeah.
whatever, my
That-
brother.
So that's why
I was about
you'll
to say, what
spend.
about Brent?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll spend his money as.
Yeah, well, I don't want their money. I want them to enjoy it. But you just get and I think there's so many people that are like this, that when you don't have anything and you don't really actually make a lot of money, first coming on, you have to find a way to scrape by and get by.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to throw out the idea of, oh, I need that new watch, or I need that new computer, or I need that new car. You just have to throw those ideas out. And they just got so good at throwing those ideas out that now when they have the money, they're like, well, can we afford this $50? I don't know. That air fryer is really expensive. I don't know if we should get that.
It's like it's on sale.
And I'm just like sitting there. I love to spend money. As soon as I got it, it's gone.
Yeah.
I gotta
Oh,
yeah.
spend it. So when I see them do things like that, I just go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh yeah.
I would be buying $1,000 air fryer.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like, I just from seeing them grow up, and I think it's kind of taught me that I can flip that switch, and I know that I can do it. But there are a lot of people who can't.
But for me, it took a while because
Yeah,
my first job was minimum wage, working at a pizza place, and it just happened to be right down the road from my house. So again, I didn't need a car. I would just longboard in the summer, walk in the winter, and I didn't have rent to pay, didn't have anything, but I was also making trash money.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of saving it, I was in the same boat where it's like, I just want to spend it. It's my money. I'm going to go buy. We would run to the mall and drop just.
Drop
I would
$100 on
drop
shoes or clothes or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'd buy, be like, that $90 hoodie. I'm gonna treat myself, and I'd do that every paycheck. And then my mom and dad be like, "You want to like pay your phone bill? You want to like chip in for groceries? What are you doing?" Like, I have $10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna save that for food. And they're
Take
like,
that hoodie back. Yeah.
right.
Well, and see, that's the thing. I don't think there's any difference from one generation to the next. Once you get out and start making money, you always want this thing. And
Oh yeah.
it's a delayed need gratification, and it's a spontaneous type buy that you're just sitting there looking at something. You think about something. Now you're being bombarded with online ads, TV ads. It's popping up everywhere.
You see stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, and just for me and making good money now, back then, like, big purchase was $50.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Now a big purchase is $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, oh, $200. I don't care.
Mhm.
Whatever. And, I think, like you said, it's been a generational thing. I think that I wouldn't say that, youth or younger folk have it too good at home.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they do. Maybe I'm miscued. I don't know. But I think it's just because you have it just good enough living at home with your parents that you don't realize what the actual cost of living is when
Exactly.
when you go to move out and you're like, wow, I have not enough to pay for anything.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
that was a huge wake up call for me when we got our apartment. It was like, oh, I bought groceries, paid everything. Like, I thought this was supposed to be fun. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going out this weekend. I'm just gonna stay home.
Well, that's the thing. Most of the kids, once they get out, they want to get out, but then they haven't been paying rent. They haven't been making car payments. They haven't been buying food. They haven't paid utilities.
Oh,
They don't
yeah.
think about utilities, insurance, rent,
And exactly.
stuff like
the
that.
insurance situation comes up, and it's like, hey, I've got all this stuff. Then they want to try and buy a house and start a family too, and then all of a sudden they're underwater, and everything starts with the credit cards, because that looks like that's the easy way to make up the shortfall of cash. And, for someone like your parents who are living, like you say, maybe 70% below their means, it's one of those things that, you have to incorporate that savings factor. And that savings factor is what's being spent currently that you won't have later. And it even goes on beyond that, I look at it as a want situation. I want something, so I'm going to get it. Do I need it? No, I don't need it, but I want it. And I want it now. So that delayed need gratification, it's like, no, I can't put it off till next year or whatever, or take this trip or go here or get a new car or, go do something else. I want it now, and I'm going to get it no matter how it's going to cost me.
Right. And I mean, like you have to think that like the banks, real estate, credit card companies, they're all ruthless.
Well, why do you think they
don't
give them?
care about
you? Graduate from high school and they're getting a $500 to $1,000 credit card there.
Right.
You go into college and they're jacking them up to $3,000 to $5,000 limits for you to start. They've got you hooked before you even started into
you don't know
college.
anything about finances. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, these companies, these people, they're ruthless. They just want to make a buck.
Mm-hmm.
They might seem like, oh, well, credit card A has the best customer service. Oh, they care about your every need. Oh, they do?
At
26% interest rate.
29.99%.
And it's like, when I think about, when it comes to like real estate and stuff, and people are just, they're trying to make $1.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll pre-approve you for up to 55% of your debt to income.
Mm-hmm.
How are you ever going to pay for anything?
Oh, yeah.
How are you ever going to pay for anything if your pre-approval is for $150,000 and you buy a house for $145,000? Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
You
better like staying at home, I'll tell you that. And you better like eating rice and noodles.
Well, I
every
think
single meal.
The other thing is that when they get into this and they figure that I'm spending $900 to $1,000, maybe $1,100 for rent, say a married couple, and now they want to buy a house. Well, with the rates being so low, what's a starter home now? I mean, they're talking starter homes at $250,000. I'm like, are you kidding me? A starter home is like $80,000 to $120,000.
Right.
But you get a 2.5%, and the people are looking at it and going, well, hell, I was paying $1,100, for rent. How much bigger of a house can I get? Because if I look at $120,000, $140,000, it's only $400 or $500 a month, and I was paying this. So let's go for that $250,000 house.
Like, wow, we only factored in the mortgage. Wow, I didn't know taxes were that expensive.
And then look at the insurance on that.
I didn't know
God,
insurance.
that's $1,200 a year.
Wow, now we're paying $2,200 a month. What happened?
But
they pre-approved me for it, so that means I can afford it.
But they got the house.
You just need to do what I did. Just go get an apartment out in the middle of nowhere, spend like a lot less than you'd expect, and then buy a tiny, tiny little house.
Children of the Corn show up.
Oh yeah, living out in Doylestown. They had a Subway, and that was it. That was like their big
underground.
No, like the restaurant. That was the big staple for that little village. It was like, we have a Subway
village.
So that
barely had electricity.
Oh yeah,
that was big Friday night dinner out. Was at Subway.
Yeah. But again, we were out in the middle of nowhere, and we were paying a lot less than we would anywhere else, and the apartment was nice.
Yeah.
And then we did kind of the same with the house. We kept that budget in mind. Where it's like, we don't need
ding 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 magic word budget. Oh my God.
Oh, hey.
That's what the problem is with these people. They're just spending what they have, and there's no budget there.
Oh no. There's
no concept of saying, hey, let's allocate X dollars for something. And I don't care, what it is. I mean, even an emergency fund. Over half the people of those 125 million, over half of them don't even have $1,000 saved back. So what do? You live paycheck to paycheck. You got a couple of credit cards that are probably almost maxed out, or maybe they are. And then all of a sudden, you end up having $1,000 to $1,500 emergency fund money that you don't have. And all of a sudden you got this shortfall. Where do you go? Probably go back to credit card if you've got some limit left. If you don't, what else do you do? Most of the time, they're not putting in on a 401k. If they're not doing that, they can't even borrow the money to get it out of there. So, what has to happen is a very hard, come to Jesus meeting here at this point. It's like, you got to do some things that you might end up selling a car, below what you can get for it. You might be upside down in it, but
You're going to turn around and buy something way cheaper.
You're going to have to do that and maybe put that on it. But you're going to have to get that $400, $500, $600 a month car payment down to a couple $100. You're going to have to, if you got all these other toys. I've had other couples, younger couples that said, they got all these game boxes and everything else, and they sold those. It's
game boxes,
$300-$400. They get $500, whatever they get out of this stuff. And
let me ask you this: where
to
where
pay
do
off
you,
to pay off the other credit cards and the debts.
Where do you draw the line on selling things? Like, if you have 3 Xboxes and a PS4, start selling some of that stuff. But like, where would you say draw the line so you're not living in a cardboard box under the bridge selling your shoes?
I'd sell all of them because I'm not interested in them. I would keep, probably the most advanced one that you have and get rid of the other ones. Why are they laying around,
Right, but I just mean like in general, like try and stay happy. Don't sell your bed and go buy a bunch of beanbag chairs to sleep on though, right?
Well, exactly.
Obviously.
We don't want you back to beans and weenies and ramen noodles and stuff, back to college, the good old days, You don't want to go back to that.
Days. You mean the whole budget isn't for alcohol?
Yeah. I think it's whatever you can actually live with from that standpoint, because, once you end up getting, your car, your shelter, and your food, and you get all your staples and stuff, then, what's left? So, you've got to have that. I mean, if you're bringing home $3,000 a month and, that's eating up $2,500, something's wrong somewhere.
Right.
Now if you've got $3,000 and you've got a rent for $800-$900, you got a $200 or $300 car payment, and it's only costing you $300-$400 a month for food, you got another $1,500. Now I would start, chopping that, into pieces and, knocking that into 20-30% of something else. Put some aside to save, put some away to spend for entertainment and stuff. But everybody's going to be different, and it's going to be hard it's like losing weight. You go from a 36-inch waist to go down to 30 again. Every time you do that, you've got to lose weight in order to go down to the next notch.
Right.
Well, if you got $3,000 and went from 2,500, you're trying to get to 15, something's got to give.
Right.
So I think it's going to just take some time, and that's going to have to be left up to each individual.
Yeah.
To see what it is. But when you're doing, it's one thing to do collections of all of these. I mean, I used to collect comic books and sports cards and Hot Wheels when I was young and all that stuff. And I still got them. Now they're worth a bunch of money, so now I'm going to turn around and start getting rid of that. That's, that's not all my pension plan, but that's those are
Retirement
vacations.
Plan,
Those are
Retirement plan is
vacations and
keeping
other
that
stuff
Superman
like that.
#1
Yeah.
framed.
You got
Exactly.
you got that Honus Wagner car. It's worth like over $1 million.
If I did that, we wouldn't be here today.
yeah, we'd be on a
doing it-
yacht.
We'd be doing it from Hawaii or something.
Yeah, we'd be on a yacht. No, I think the big thing for me, we've talked about this on many previous episodes, is just that budget.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you start, and I'm not, and I did this actually on a car ride. I was down in Tennessee. I was by the Smoky Mountains. I had no money.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably last October. I had no money, at $0, both my checking and my savings. And still at the time, I was making pretty good money. I was making very good money for living at home.
Mm-hmm.
I was just spending everything. And so I started going through, and I'm like looking through my statements, and I'm realizing how much money I'm spending on food, how much money I'm spending on.
Should we have some deliverance music at this point? It wasn't that bad, was it? Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
You were back in the country and stuff. It's like,
no,
okay.
so like,
okay.
so I'm like looking through everything, and I'm like, I'm just kind of like blowing money away, and I don't even realize why I'm doing it. I don't realize what I'm spending it on. So I kind of just made, and this is for anyone listening, if you don't have a budget, just make numbers up. Just pick something. Realize what you make.
You got to start somewhere. In other words,
realize what you make per month, and you make X dollars. Say at the time you make $2,000 a month. Your car is this, your credit cards are this, and I'm talking minimums on everything. Your minimums of everything is this, whatever it is, your rent, your insurance, whatever you're paying for, phone bill, map them out. This is what I pay each month. Okay. all right, I have $1,200 in bills. So that leaves me $800. I'd say, starting out, first time you're doing it, $100 a paycheck to the savings.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got $600 a month to live with. Go from there. Do I need $600 a month to live with? If you live at home, or, $600, and I'm saying I split it up. This is what I personally did. I split it up. 100 for food each week, or each paycheck, 100 for gas, 100 for miscellaneous. Miscellaneous was sometimes food.
Mm-hmm.
But
or liquid death or whatever else.
He got it right. He got it right. Liquid death. I haven't brought it in a while. I've been on the not an endorsement, Hydro Flask kick. But anyways, I got down and I realized, first off, I didn't need the 100 for miscellaneous.
Mm-hmm.
That was a myth. So I could do another 200 a month into my savings. And then I'm like, okay, I'm kind of, in the summertime, I have 2 cars. I'm spending probably $100 a paycheck on gas, but in the wintertime, it's more like 60. So I can adjust my budget to the season.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even in the wintertime, I'm spending less money on food because I don't want to go out as much because it's cold. Not everybody lives in.
Then you order out and you have it delivered. So
DoorDash it all. Yeah. So, but and I just that was just where I started, and I'm like looking back on it, and I'm like, all I needed to do was just start.
Yeah.
Just start realizing what you're spending your money on. You're like, wow,
nothing is wrong. Nothing is right. You just have to start it.
Just
people are afraid to say.
Don't be like, wow, I need to.
Yeah.
$20 a week for food. Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, whether it's a dollar amount or a percentage, just start somewhere.
Just start somewhere, and then eventually you're like, wow, I didn't even spend $100 that week on food. And what I would do when I didn't spend my budgeted amount, I saved it, or I put more on a credit card.
How'd you feel after you saw that at the end of the month?
And
whoa, wait a minute!
I felt relieved that I had my finances kind of under control,
and
even if it wasn't under control enough to where when people say my finances are under control, everything's paid for. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, where your money is going. Exactly what you're spending everything on, and you're keeping track of it all. That's what I'm talking about. Not talking about wow, I have no debt. Not talking about that. I'm talking about you just know where your money's going. So, I mean, just the whole budget piece is for me, it's been eye-opening.
Yeah.
Really.
And I was looking at a couple other things. This other guy was doing, he was in his early 30s, and he had a $600 a month car payment. All right. It was still like 3-4%, but he wanted to, he was trying to double his car payment so he'd get the thing paid off. Now, he's still got student loans. He's still got a buttload of every other credit card and everything else, but for some reason, he's trying to pay off this 3 to 4% auto loan. So he's doubling up and paying $1,200 on a car. And he's got credit card debt. He's got school debt that's long-term stuff anyway, okay? And yet he doesn't have any savings. I was sitting there like, what is this? And they put it on, it was on Yahoo. And they were sitting there going, hey, this guy's, showing you how to pay off your debts and everything. And I'm like, you out of your mind? He
had no savings.
No, he didn't have anything. And I just sat there and I'm like, what's going on with this stuff? It's just so stupid that, you got somebody like, all these internet and social media presence trying to tell you how to do this or how to do that. It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's like,
pay your credit cards off, but you don't put $700 of money that you don't have. You've got to have a balance there between there. Again, if something does happen, what's he going to do? He's going to right back to the credit card.
Right.
So you just have this, all you're doing is switching dollars for, higher interest rates.
That goes back to what you were saying a few episodes ago I think we were talking about tax returns and people that were thinking like, oh, well, I've got all this money now. Like, I'm just going to pay off my car, my credit cards. Like, what about your savings though? It's like you're getting, I don't know, like $1,000. And are you able to make those payments already? Like right now, are you making those? And like, yeah, it's like, well, that's your savings then. It's insane. Like if you can afford all that, just start chipping away at your savings. Like build that up. Like that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, because, when we talked about the compounding, if you say you end up, you try to pay your student loans off. And for everything I've seen, you're looking at least a 10 to 15 year payoff cycle on most of these. And if you add, it's not unusual for somebody to have $1,200 to $1,500 a month in student loans from, what I see a lot of. And they turn around and they try to pay $500 to $1,000 a month on those. Well, if you've got a 10 to 12 or 15 year amortization and you pay that extra money, it's only going to take you down maybe 8 years. Okay, so you might knock off 4 or 5 years. You're not going to knock it off in 2 years, just by paying that. It's going to come down maybe a third from a time constraint, but you still don't have any savings. You still don't have an emergency fund. You don't have anything else. And now, even 8 years down the road, you just lost 8 years of compounding if you put money in your pocket. So when you start looking at that, those are going to come down. Anything you don't put in, that's a lost opportunity that you had. Now you start factoring in what they call opportunity cost, and it's like, what could I have done with that money? If I put money in here and it saves, it's going up. I'm paying that off, it's coming down. Okay? I would much rather have that flipped and start putting money away, being my own bank again, and knowing that I could save that. I could pay that off. Now, there again, you got to balance that out between what are you able to earn on those investments versus how much are you paying. If you're turning around, you've got 20% interest on a credit card, yeah, get those things down, because if you just make minimum payments, my God, they'll have it right on the bill for you and say, if you make minimum payments, it's going to take you 18 to 32 years to pay this off. Well, you got $1,000 and 32 years from now, it's like $6,000 or $8,000.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy. So you have to balance that out and have some common sense. You have to attack the cards or the bills that have the highest rate. But if you're down in 3-4% or 0% on cars, and you can get a 0% for 6, 10, 12 months on credit cards, swap them out for a while until you till you can get yourself out of this thing. But don't be paying all this extra money on it, because when you look back and you're going, geez, I did that for 4 years and I got this stuff paid off. Well, yeah, you may have spent $30,000-$40,000, and what do you have? You get $1,000 hit on all your tires get blown out or something. You got $1,000 in tires. Where are you going? You're going back to your credit card.
Yeah.
So you start this cycle all over again, and
Get the
you got to have a
savings
balance.
right.
Yeah,
Get that savings right.
and if you're doing some of the dividend stocks we talked about before, it's sort of a dollar cost averaging when you do that drip plan and you reinvest that. You get that compounding started. If once you interrupt it or you start it late, you're looking 8, 10, 12 years down the road. If you start it now, it becomes that habit. And, like you were saying, Dean, once you start anywhere. You just have to start. And that's what most people think. Oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to do 5% or 10 or 20 might be too much.
You are overthinking the situation. You've already lost.
Exactly.
You've already lost.
Well, they don't make a decision.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't want to be wrong. Well, guess what?
There is no wrong.
Spend 3 months trying to figure out what option to make.
Exactly.
There is no
lost
wrong.
How much?
The only wrong is not starting.
Exactly. That's the only wrong there is by not moving forward. And, they get that analysis paralysis crap going on, and they just sit there and go,
And it's
I
like,
just want to think about it and I don't want to do it.
I'm so animated about this just because I've done exactly that.
Yeah.
Overthought the whole situation. I was like, I don't need a budget. What's a budget? That's what broke people do.
Yeah.
And then I started realizing that I am broke and I need a budget, and I don't need to overthink it. I need to put all of my things into baskets and say, this is what needs paid. This is what I have left over.
Mm-hmm.
Decide what to do with it.
Yeah.
That's it. If you want to spend your leftovers on a new gaming system, then by all means.
Yeah. If you've got that set
spend it on a
aside
new gaming
and it's
system.
10 or 20% and you've got $1,500 saved up, but you've also got your 10 or 15% saved, you hit your goal from the savings. This is it. Hey, I never try to, when we're doing a plan for anybody, we never try to attack their lifestyle. And whether that's gaming or traveling or hobbies or
Gambling.
whatever, whatever it is, you know, whatever their thing that turns them on that they either relax or they enjoy, we never try to hit that. That's the last thing. We're just trying to get rid of the unnecessary stuff or the things that really doesn't mean anything to you. You know, like a couple of years ago, we stopped a lot of the cable stuff. I mean, you get up into $175, $220 a month. You got 7,000 channels of crap, and you don't see a damn thing. You waste 2 hours looking for stuff to watch, and you don't see anything.
Just make friends and figure out who has what.
I don't like people, so I
was
can't
gonna
do
say,
that.
find someone that has Netflix, find another buddy that has HBO, and just,
Just
Hey,
bring
wait,
a
whoa,
6-pack
whoa.
of beer and a pizza, and you go over there.
All those streaming services are catching on to that. We need to be quiet.
Yeah.
we'll whisper that.
Anyone who wants to
friends.
share me their HBO,
Yeah.
Email us. At
Email.
Jason.
Yeah. So what we've done is just get our internet. It's like $45, $46 a month. And then we rotate. Sometimes we'll do Hulu. Sometimes it's Netflix. Sometimes it's Prime, whatever. And or
find something
HBO.
you like and watch it on that single streaming service. and then
Find some
switch.
free trials. Make as many emails as possible.
No, you don't even need to do that. I mean,
No.
these streaming services, they're not expensive. But I'm just saying, you know, you have Amazon, you have Hulu, you have HBO, you have Netflix. Now we're talking
Disney
$60,
Plus.
70, Discovery, 80. Now you're back up to your cable pricing.
Right. And see, that's what I
You
say.
don't
We only
need all of those streaming
we only keep one or
services.
two a month.
Yeah.
And then we just rotate because after a while they're all showing the same things again. Then you go to the next place.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think all out of pocket every month we're out maybe $75. Then once in a while we'll get a movie or something.
Yeah.
Now they've got the movies instead of renting them for like $2, $3, $4. You want to buy it for $45? You want to rent it for $19.99? I'm like, no.
No, I don't want to buy Castaway.
You know, yeah,
I can get it on Amazon Prime for $4.
and I don't even have any popcorn in the house, so I can't even sit, you know, in my lounger to give me that theatrical experience.
You know, to like round back though, like just this whole conversation is, and it's always led to some simple philosophy. It's something my dad taught me. TCB.
Okay, I'll bite. What is that?
What's that, John? Taking care of business.
Oh,
So
Every day we're taking care of it.
oh, whoa.
no.
No.
Gonna get a copyright
No.
on that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, and it's simple as that. Taking care of business, you know, paying off your bills when they're due, not getting late fees, making sure everything's budgeted, and then playing with your leftovers afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's simple as that. And if you don't have any leftovers, that means you need to do something to have leftovers. Make more money. Get rid of some debt.
Mm-hmm.
Start having fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's simple as that.
What's
you know?
living below your means is all it amounts to.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got 120% lifestyle, you're going to have to get that thing down to at
You-
least 98.5.
You need to get it down to 98%, and then you need to make more money to get to 120%.
Yeah. My, you know, to add to that, my uncle had a business and everything. He ended up retiring. He had a little drive-in when there were no drive-ins. He had a miniature golf course when they didn't have that. He sold Christmas trees when nobody was selling these. I mean, this is 40, 50,
A pioneer.
60 years ago.
Pioneer of all of our fun
Yeah.
things we like to enjoy.
And so he did all this, and you know, there were a lot of cash businesses and stuff, but he retired at 50 and lived about 76, 77. And the thing he always said was pay yourself first. So he always took, you know, whatever that was at the end of the day, he took X dollars out for himself and then paid everything after that. Then if there was still money left, then he'd save that too. But, you know, they were always, he only worked, believe this, he worked, they opened the businesses on Memorial Day and they closed on Labor Day. So they were only open about 90 some days. Then he had about 2 or 3 weeks he sold Christmas trees during December. And as soon as they were done selling the Christmas trees, they were in Florida for 3 months until they came back around April, the end of April. So they had a month to open things, get it ready.
So what you're
So-
saying is we need to build a putt-putt course and plant some Christmas trees out front of your office right now.
That's it. That's our second retirement plan. After we sell my Hot Wheels and everything else.
yeah. Yeah. Well, we're going to need that as some, you know, money to put down on the green fees. That
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna have, you know.
Exactly.
And I'm sure pine trees are kind of hard to come by.
Yeah, just go grab some pine cones and Shove them in the ground.
Yeah, I don't know anything about what's that? Being a botanist or whatever. What is it?
Yes.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
No.
You got me on here
I think
for
it's
40 minutes.
It's been deep. We've been sidetracked. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed the content, whether you're a millennial, whether you're a boomer, no matter where you're at. It sounds like the bottom line is, cut some of these expenses that are unnecessary, get into a budget. And if you need anything, jcindy at lifestagesadvisory.com. And like we said at the beginning, go ahead and subscribe. Listen to Spotify, listen to Apple Podcasts, listen to iHeartRadio. Am I missing anything?
No, you got it, buddy.
I done good this time. Okay.
You've done good.
Until next time. Thanks.